so, and maybe you hesitate for a second. You know, it's really hard, and you love your brother. And I was like, I love it. I was like, I know, man. You can just tell me to go somewhere. He took that care and that kindness and that compassion with him to the actors and the crew, and I think it really endeared a lot of us and it made us want to work even harder. That's awesome.
It was a firework with a naive tinge. Thank you.
So Jensen, I love the episode you directed, and I wanted to know if you want to direct again.
Yes, I think Ben and I went through a very similar experience in the fact that, we kind of showed up on set and it was all headlights right on this deer, which was a line that he used and I'm stealing. But at the same time, it's one of those good kind of challenges, and I really enjoy kind of throwing myself, into a deep end somewhere and just sink or swim. So I hope that I do get to direct again because I really enjoyed it and I'd like to explore it more. I didn't get to act a whole lot in that particular episode, which was great because I was able to just kind of focus on what Jim was doing, and he did a fantastic job. I was just kind of, I didn't feel in the driver's seat at all. I was just kind of like riding shotgun, so I thank him for that. But yeah, I'd love to try to do it again. As long as he's not in it.
That's actually my also.
That's a stipulation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm thinking
Sequel.
You know, if you're piling the questions, I took a lot of great questions from fans, and you guys did an amazing job. And the only trouble will be sorting through all of these questions. But question for you, Jim. These people keep killing off everyone you know. That's from a fan named M. Ryan. And you lost Rufus, and that seemed like a big one to me. And it seems like this is a world that these people are mean. They keep killing off all the people.
Well, I keep hearing all this stuff about how Supernatural kills off all the women. Supernatural kills off everybody. I think the writers are the only people who haven't died on the show.
And the meta episode, I like the best death scene we've ever seen.
On that death scene, by the way, when I first saw the first cut, I emailed, because that wasn't in the script the way, I kept taking I emailed Charles Beeson, the director, and before I even said good job, first of all, thank you so much for letting me die in such a manly way. With none of the urinating and begging and crying and reality. And I never looked tougher. Oh, and by the way, it's a great episode.
I really need to see this episode.
Oh, yeah. We're on that. We moved to Friday Street.
Oh, I know what line we're on.
This shows the show that this season in particular made some amazing, changes for the characters. What are some changes or twists in Supernatural that you as actors never saw coming, or even as writers that someone else suggested, they blew you away in terms of the magnitude of the surprise and the twist?
I think y'all have great responses. Sounds like a cop-out, man. Sarah. I'll be surprised.
The one in this season was probably when Bob pitched Sam coming back from hell without a soul.
Yeah, for sure.
That was helpful for the season. That happened early, well before we got into the room with the writers. It was just sort of the three of us in our heads.
Yeah.
And doing that to Sam and saying, what if Dean stayed with the woman and her child for an entire year? Because, on the surface of it, you wouldn't think that was something he would do, but when you start to scratch, it makes a lot of sense. But it was certainly a weird and uncomfortable place to put both of them to start with. And when you do that to characters. It's like pulling a rubber band way back. You know, you get a lot of slingshot out of it.
How about actors? Any twists that you just were like, I can't believe they're doing this? And
I well, no,
they're on good behavior because there's a few curveballs coming.
I don't know if I can say it.
Ben, you know, there ever been a pitch where you're like, I can't believe they actually want me to do it? Or you couldn't believe they accepted it? Or is there a pitch out there that you still want to do that hasn't happened yet?
There's all kinds of
I am so sick of talking about that fish.
The one that happened out in the room before this room, I think that's cool, is the notion of the live broadcast like Rock did, with a 3-camera setup in Bobby's place, and we do it live. At one point, we had 3 million people.
Did you see that episode?
No, it doesn't matter how the episode is.
It's all over the place.
We're a slightly more post-heavy show than 30 months.
There are slightly things we need to stop. It's like, it's good. I think this show is extremely courageous. I think to me, you know, the meta episode, that the core of that didn't even come from me. I saw it float across the room and it didn't get shot down. Everyone started talking about it. I was like, really? Oh, no one shot it. Hey, this is great. So, I mean, I think that, you know, the show has a tradition of playing with form. So I think playing with form doesn't have to be meta anymore, but there's all kinds of other stuff to do. There's, I'm excited. I don't have anything specific. I should probably stop speaking.
I mean, Ben's particular genius is I mean, he'll come in and he'll pitch something, you know, because we haven't talked about it because it's early in the season, but like, he came in and he pitched us fairies with a straight face. And it was like, no, we need to do. I mean, wasn't it like a fairy was really confident?
He walks into, it was Bob's office, he walks in, he's like, leprechauns.
Right.
And Bob and I were like, okay.
How can you say no?
Leprechauns and fairies.
And you so know that he'll, I mean, because, you know, some of they're out of left field, but because we have such trust, I think, all in each other at this point, and because, for instance, speaking, I mean, specifically for Sarah and Ben and Bob and really the whole team, but Ben in this example, like, he ain't failed us yet, so it's like, he comes in and he says leprechauns, and I think there's a lot more trust to say, all right, let's see where the hell leprechauns are. because he always, you know, he delivers every time. Until the day he won't.
The voice is back.
That day was a bad day for you, Ben.
Well, you know, you guys are really great about making fun of yourselves. You also, you know, get very serious and heartbreaking. And what's going too far in the world of supernatural? Either too funny, too light, or too dark. Like, where do you kind of? Obviously, the line is probably shifting as you go. But is it? What are some ideas or some concepts that you just think would be either too out there or too dark?
I don't know that there are lines.
Yeah.
I may have thought there was until I was standing in ski boots on a Japanese game show. And then I realized that there's no line.
My favorite supernatural scene of all time. But how much discussion goes on in the writer's room of, you know, souls? How do you define a soul? Metaphysical?
We barely talked about it.
But then you've also got to talk about the monsters. I mean, what's the mix? Is it mostly
We
talking?
see a lot of each other.
Yeah. You know, it's this bizarre, the conversations are, I mean, fascinating, and frankly, probably the biggest reason you know, I think all of us, but speaking for me, I love the job because you have these surreal conversations with a group of just really intelligent, funny people, and there's what I find always an amazing and hilarious mix of like high culture and low, and that happens in the room and in the same breath, you know, we'll talk about like the true nature of the soul, and we'll segue right to Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then it'll go from right there to pornography, and then like French philosophy, and then like, remember moving My Bodyguard? Yeah, that was so touching, and then like, and there's just like, it's this crazy whirlwind, and that we really do. I mean, without it being like sort of douchey or we try not to be douchey, but I think we do set out with a certain amount of philosophical aspiration. Like we have a point of view about what we want to say about the soul or fate or destiny or religion, and we try to. Sometimes it's way on the nose, but a lot of times it's way on the nose. But we try to we try to do it with hopefully with some elegance, but we really set out to do it, and at the same time make references to Blues Brothers and Animal House, and so there's just this. I think there's like this really delicious mix, which is frankly the backgrounds where we all come. I mean, I think we're all reasonably well-read people, but at the same time, like nothing's cooler than Evil Dead 2. So.
Do I have it right that you're writing the season finale?
Yeah, I just turned it into the Mercy of Sarah and Bob Friday or Thursday, and we went through the studio and Ever Notes process. Bob is up there. Bob sends his love and apologies. He's up there directing the episode, prepping it right now. They start shooting next week after the next one. So yeah.
What I hope for the next 20 episodes, and I think I speak for a few fans, the Heavenly War, Castiel. Are we going to see more of Misha in the next 2 episodes?
You're going to have to do some major reshoots then. No, I think that storyline is definitely getting tied up and played out and hashed out in the end of the season.
And does Castiel get an assistant?
He adopts a very cute orphan.
Will Smith's kid.
But he's got a certain son.
I want to be up there looking at you.
That's nice, buddy. Train wreck's like in a bad seat right now.
What do we say about the future? There's a lot of passion about the future.
You will meet an age-rated Rachel who is Castiel's trusted lieutenant, yes. And we're sort of opening up that story a little bit. There's more of Raphael and more of the Civil War, and I think probably what is most important about that, which is what is going on with Castiel. What is he thinking when he gives her that look that says, I really need a nap and I don't have time to take one, and it's just really wrong for me. Like, what exactly does he mean by that? So we will find out what exactly he means by that.
Excellent. Jim, do you miss Crowley and all your romantic times?
42 years in this business, and on my tombstone it's going to say he kissed Crowley.
And that's a good thing.
I've had better. Not recently, but